Hola! Welcome to the grading module. In this module, we will explain the method that will work best for you in grading your students during Spanish class. This method is aimed at using the least amount of your time, but still showing a fair assessment of the student's grades. Let's get started. One of the most difficult things about grades for specialist classes is that they only meet one class per week. It makes it hard to truly get a good representation about the grade. The system that we have developed is meant to assist and aid with that struggle. Let's go over the method. In grading, the goals for our students are to assess them based on their behavior, participation, and understanding. We want to make sure that all students feel successful in Spanish class, and that as long as they're giving their effort and doing their work, they will be receiving a very good grade. Let's talk about grading with the younger students. Usually in the grades K through 3, the OSU are the standards that they go over. O means outstanding, S is satisfactory, and U is unsatisfactory. In Spanish, we want the students to all be successful. It encourages their enthusiasm for Spanish while also keeping parents from making a fuss about grades. Here's how you should grade for students in grades K through 3. Each week, the student will get a grade out of 10 points. All students automatically have a 9 out of 10 for the day. Behavior issues or not having their work warrants an 8 out of 10. Students who are answering and demonstrating understanding of the material will get a 10 out of 10. Students who are absent receive 9 out of 10. No student should ever receive lower than an 8 out of 10 for the week. The reason that we do that is because we want all of our students to have an 80% or higher in the class. The way it will work is that any student with a 93% or higher receives an O. Students who receive an 85 to 92 receive an S+, and students below 85% receive an S. We never want to give students a U, and it would be very rare for us to give a student an S-. If we did give an S-, you should contact the parent before you post the final grade. Let's look at an example. Here is the class list I have kept in my gradebook. Each grade is listed as the date of that class. In my book, at the end of my class, I quickly jot down the 8s and the 10s, but I can leave the 9s blank and fill those in later. It takes about 60 seconds at the end of a class to fill this in, and it will help you to keep an accurate record. At the midterm and the quarter end, I add up the average grades, and I determine their final grade of an O, S+, or S. Now let's talk about grading for the 4th and 5th grade. Generally, grades 4 through 8 receive a letter grade. You'll check with your school to find out the scale for the A, B, C, D, and F, as it varies depending on the school. There are 3 components to the grade that you will use for grades 4 and 5. Behavior, homework, and quizzes. With behavior, we're going to utilize the exact same method that you do above for the younger students. 10 points per class, and everyone either receives an 8, 9, or 10. Homework. Homework should be assigned weekly. Students either receive a 5 out of 5 for completed homework or a 3 out of 5 for incomplete, forgotten, or not done homework. Ask students to bring it in the following week, but don't chase them down for it, as their grade will not improve from a 3 out of 5. Quizzes. At this age level, students should have 1 to 2 quizzes in each quarter. The quiz should be around 25 points. Be sure to give the students a study guide so that they will be able to be well prepared for the quiz. If some students did poorly on the exam, you can give them the opportunity to correct the exam for the following week in order to earn back half of the points that they lost. For example, if a student misses 6 questions and got 19 out of 25, but brought back their corrections, they now will receive 3 points and have a 22 out of 25. The goal with this level is to have all students at an 80% or higher. Any student that falls below 80%, you should schedule a parent conference before the final grade is posted. There are 4 components to the grade you will record for grades 6 through 8. You will be looking at behavior, homework, assessments, quizzes, and projects. For behavior, we will utilize the exact same method that you do for the younger student. Each student receives 10 points per class, and they either receive an 8, 9, or 10. For homework, we're going to continue to give weekly assignments in the middle school. Students will either receive a 5 out of 5 if they complete their homework, or a 3 out of 5 if they don't bring it in because they didn't do it or they forgot it. Ask students to bring their work each week if they didn't bring it in, but again, don't worry about chasing them down because you're not going to change their grade from that 3 out of 5. Assessments should happen at least once per quarter and be 50 points towards their grade. Take-home exams are the best way to assess the students because it will not take class time. These exams are provided through the VOSIS resources that you will have with your materials. If students did poorly, you may have them make corrections to this and earn back half the points they lost. Make sure that your students understand that this is an individual test, not a group test, so they should be doing the work on their own even though it's take-home. Finally, with quizzes and projects, students should have regular quizzes, at least 5 per quarter, and have those be 10 points each. Quizzes can be on vocabulary, or they can also cover grammar material as well. Students will not be able to correct quiz grades to earn back points. Projects are a fun way to make Spanish more relatable for the older students. One 35-point project per semester should be assigned. Be sure to only assign things that will be easy for you to grade. The goal with this level is to have all students at the 80% level or higher. And again, if a student falls below 80%, you should schedule a parent conference before the final grade is posted. Each school uses some sort of online tool to track and measure performance. You will work with your school and usually computer teacher to get set up on the site and enter grades. These websites make it easy for parents to log on and see grades instantly. You should only enter your grades in the computer system at the midterm and on. This will allow you to post realistic culmination of grades rather than in the first week a parent seeing an 8 out of 10 and being concerned that their child has an 80% in the class. We will work with your principal to ensure that this grading method is approved and that the expectation is set with the parents at the beginning of the school year. Grades are very important to students and parents alike, so it is important that our grades fairly reflect the effort of the student. Keeping track of grades will give you something to reference as to why you are giving a certain mark. If a student is struggling, you should reach out to the parent prior to posting grades. Keeping your communication open with the parents will be very helpful in developing relationships with those parents. Grading can be one of the more tedious parts of your role as a Spanish teacher. We have found that if you follow the guidelines we have provided, it will be much easier. Remember to try and assign things that are easy to grade. All homework should be for completion. For quizzes, use multiple choice or matching so that you can quickly grade them. This will be an incredibly helpful tool to save a lot of time. The final bit I want to speak about is extra credit. Try to offer extra credit regularly so that all students have a fair opportunity to use it. Make sure that the extra credit is not worth too much, or students will slack on their normal work and only do the more fun extra credit assignments. In my own classes, I will offer extra credit that is worth 1 to 2% of the final grade for the quarter. This allows me to wait until the end to add the percentage to the grade. Again, with extra credit, make sure that the assignment is an easy to grade assignment, so that way it doesn't take up too much of your time. This concludes the grading module. Remember that you will work with your school to find out what sort of grading and tracking system they use, and will likely want you to utilize throughout the year. Once you find out what system you're using, the school will help you with training and resources to learn the website. You can also use Google and YouTube on your own to help you prepare for using that gradebook. Any questions, feel free to let me know. Grading is hard, but with the right system, it can definitely go smooth and easily.